much for joining. My name is Julie Kikla. I'm the executive director over here at Ladies Who Lunch. And today I have just the immense pleasure of dining or having a beverage with two incredible ladies and business leaders in the retail space. First, we've got Samantha Renée. Samantha, give us a little wave. You are a merchant success manager at Shopify, which I'm sure everybody on this call knows, but it's an e-commerce platform that has everything you need to sell online, on social media or in person. Fun fact, Samantha's also a woman entrepreneur, so we love her even more. And she found bricks to click, so we'll highlight that in a bit. And then Joanna Griffiths, you've been such a lady who launched superstar of ours, and we've been following all of your success with Knix and Knixteen as CEO and founder. And if you don't know Knix, it's just this amazing, innovative, intimate, like bras and underwears. They're super comfortable, and they make you feel amazing. So make sure you check them out. We're going to talk all about it and how she's gone from online to brick and mortar and what the heck is happening right now. So this is a true power lunch. So we're just going to get down to business. And I'm going to kick it off to both of you and maybe go to you first, Joanna. But can you just share what broad-based impact you've seen on your business in the last 3 to 4 weeks, and just really kind of how you've wrapped your head around this and where you think you're going in the next truly like 30 days?
So I think that things hit us pretty fast and furious. The evening that COVID-19 was announced as a pandemic, we actually had a scare within our office with a potential connection. So shut down our offices right away, had people in deep cleaning them, and things got real very quickly. I think for part of that reason, we were really fast in making the decision that we wanted to close our retail stores. So our stores have been closed since Friday, March 13th. And so I think from a broader base, what we're seeing is that obviously we don't have those physical retail locations anymore. So, working hard to find ways to keep those team members busy and employed through this whole sort of crisis that we're going through. And then as a company, making the big shift to working remotely, and truly rethinking like every part of our business. I mean, we used to do photo shoots every week. We had a big trip planned for Tulum, Mexico for a swimsuit launch. We had a warehouse sale planned, and really everything has kind of changed. Like products that used to sell really well right now maybe aren't selling as well, and every day is like a new journey. And so we're just being really nimble and collaborative and figuring it out.
Completely understood. And so just shifting over to you, Samantha, again, probably a month ago looked very different on just the merchant side of what you've done. And now, how has your day-to-day changed, and what steps have you taken over the last, 30 days to really just think through this and support your partners and merchants?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just been such a huge collaborative effort between so many teams at Shopify that I've met more people in the last week and a half in the company than I've ever met since being there. So it's really interesting to be able to work with so many different people that have so many great ideas on how we can help. And I think it almost makes me emotional to think how we support merchants and how it's always been a passion of everything that we do, but how much that means right now in the time that we're in. So it's really great to see people step up and really just be willing to shift and do other things. I'm working on a project specifically for delivering content to people that are experiencing this and giving them different marketing strategies, different ways that they can actually, sustain their business, all those kinds of things. So I've just seen so many people pulled from different projects and just being thrown into making sure that we do everything possible to help our merchants. So it's really great to see that. And just getting feedback from partners and, merchants that are in need is really helpful so that we can deliver what we need to make sure that we can get through this together.
Yeah, I do feel that we are all in this together more so than I've ever felt in kind of any other
Definitely
history of my life, I can say. But
yeah,
I do see that across kind of everything from small business to large platforms. So agree with you there. Joanna, I just want to shift back to you for a bit as both founder and CEO of the company. So, what when you guys opened 2 stores in Vancouver and Toronto, you mentioned that you obviously had to kind of make the decision to shut them down. Kind of walk us through how you made that decision, and then how you and your team have shifted from maybe a focus on in-person and brick and mortar to your kind of online and the initiatives that you've taken. And I'd also like you to maybe talk through what was the best source of information or advice that you received during that time.
Yeah, so the decision to close our stores sort of came from 2 directions. So the first was my brother's a doctor, and he is one of the people who are going to be is on the front lines of COVID-19. And so I asked him what he thought I should do. And at first he was like, oh no, you can keep your stores open. And then he sent me a text message and was like, I've been thinking about it, and if you can close them, I really think you should close them. And so within basically 5 minutes of getting that text message, we made the decision. It was about doing our part to ensure that we were really supporting social distancing and sending out that message. And it also was looking out for our employees. Like, we have a really intimate experience in our fitting rooms. It's all about someone being in there with you, fitting you for a bra. It's essentially the exact opposite of what we were being told to do. And some of our team members expressed that they didn't feel safe, and those 2 things were enough. And so we immediately made the decision. We didn't really have a plan. We're sort of like, we'll figure this out as we go. Haven't really looked back since. I mean,
it's like an easy decision of like, okay.
It really was. Go forward. Exactly. It really was. And then the other kind of piece that we've now been thinking through is just like, okay, how do we transition our business to do things that we used to do in real life that we can now do online? And so one of the things that we launched last week was actually virtual fit session. So now we have our retail team members, and they're in their homes with a rack, kind of like what I have here, and someone can book a fit appointment, and it's just them in their apartment or their house, and they're helping them find their size. They're helping them pick the items that they want. They're basically doing what they would have done in the physical space, but now doing it online. And the response has been amazing. And the results have been really good too, because I know that a lot of business owners want to see results. You know what I mean? Like, we have about a 75% conversion of a fit appointment to people buying, and really positive feedback. And so that's just one of the examples of how we've tried to move really quickly to pivot the way that we operate to really help people. And one of the things that that we're not taking for granted is just how much people want physical they want that connection right now. Like, for some people, that 15 minutes or 30 minutes talking to our fit specialist via Zoom or Google Hangouts is the one solid interaction they're having during their day. And we can't take those things for granted, that human connection piece.
I completely understand. And yeah, it's probably maybe like their new normal kind of thought process of like, now it's, instead of going shopping, I now get to hang out and kind of see what's going to work for me and my body, and have actually a really good connection with someone.
Exactly. I could even see how that would even work better. Like, you're at home, you're comfortable anyways. So it's like, yeah, that works.
I love it. Samantha, over to you for a second on, again, last month, your life probably looked very different. Now you have, I assume there's a lot of new businesses that are trying to figure out how to shift online, and maybe they've already had an online presence, but this is something where they now need to spend a lot more time and energy.
Yes.
Can you just walk through what are the top 3 things they should be aware of? And if you have, a success story or somebody that has gone through this recently, or you've worked with that has some insights that you should share.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of top things to know, I think, especially for people who haven't been online before, I think a lot goes into creating a store, making it look pretty, all of that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, a lot of what it is online is your pictures. And people don't realize how important it is to have great pictures, because at the end of the day, the picture is what's selling your products now. You're not there to be able to have that in-person conversation, and you need to have great pictures that reflect your product and all of the amazing parts that people can't actually see in person. So that would be one thing. Another thing would be even product descriptions. Like, you have to describe your product to, you know, incredible detail, just so that people can understand like how soft it is, or how, you know, comfortable it is, or whatever it is that that product describes. So I mean, just taking the time to put into those two things, I think are really important. And pretty easy. Like, if you do a great setup and have great lighting, you can get really great pictures, which can make a huge difference between a store that doesn't sell very much and a store that sells a lot. So taking the time to just craft those things, I think, are really going to help people, because we've been hearing a lot of people talk about how hard it is, and how people didn't realize how much it takes to really take all of those individual pictures of every single product, and making sure that they look a certain way and they crop a certain way. And people are running into a lot of issues just knowing they had a store before, so people could just see everything, but it's totally different when you're taking a picture of something. So I would just probably hone in on that, and just brace yourself, and just know that you can get through it if you just kind of create a system for yourself with each one of those things. And I guess in terms of a success story, I've just seen so many people doing so many great things, in terms of whether it's helping their communities, or helping their employees, and doing different initiatives, whether it's switching to, I've seen a coffee company that's selling a particular brand of coffee that they just made a blend that's specifically for their employees. So for people who want to support being able to afford to pay their employees, they're asking people to buy this special blend of coffee. So just little stories like that are coming out from just merchants all over that are just doing whatever they can to support each other. It's just like you said, that feeling of together that I've never seen before, in terms of just people wanting to help each other and wanting to be there for each other.
Lots of nods from Joanna and myself on that. So to that point on supporting each other, Joanna, I really wanted to dive into what you guys are doing. I saw the GoFundMe and what you guys have launched there. And it's been, at least from what I could tell, what your original goal was and what you guys have already done to date. It just seems incredible. So maybe just over to you for a hot minute on what encouraged you to launch the GoFundMe. I know that there's a personal story, how that's working, and really where you see that maybe going, and how that has led some of your social strategy that I just saw today that I thought was really creative.
Yeah, so I think coming back to the same person, I feel like I'm talking about him a lot, but my brother messaged me a couple weeks ago and mentioned that his hospital was running low on PPE supplies, as so many hospitals are in every country. And so he asked if we at Knix
Real quick, PPE supplies for those that don't know.
Great. Yeah, I know. I'm so in this now. Personal
protection. You know the lingo.
Yeah, I do. I know all the lingo. I'll try not to geek out too much. Things like masks and gloves and gowns, those N95 masks that you hear so much about on the news. And so a couple weeks ago, we reached out to our partners in China and asked them if they could help us. And the answer was yes. I started emailing everyone that I knew within the government, and I could just tell that the response time was going to be too long. So we decided we had to take action and fast, and we did that in the form of a GoFundMe campaign. Basically, Knix is committed to covering all the transportation and distribution logistics, and we're ordering goods at cost. And so through that, we've been able to raise over $150,000. We have over 100,000 pieces of PPE coming in, 50,000 gloves, 20,000 N95 masks, 30,000 surgical masks, and we'll double that order again tomorrow. And now what we've done is we've matched those. We have what's called a PPE request form, and hopefully we can share these links afterwards, but we have requests from over 220 hospitals and clinics where they are telling us exactly what they need, and then we're matching what we have with what they need. And our goal is to just bridge for a week and then another week. And so we've started doing a couple of our shipments. The first one went to a shelter that a housing facility that provides healthcare support with members of our community that are HIV positive. So really, really high risk. All I needed was gloves, like $100 worth of equipment, not a lot. And then our other shipment went to one of the hospitals in New York, and we're just getting started. So
So this is not just in Canada. This is for Canada, US, or?
Yeah, we're doing for both. So we're a Canadian company, so the majority of what we're doing is within Canada, but we have an allocation for places in the US as well, because so many of our customers are from the US. And it's really based on need. It's been amazing. Like, I think it's done a couple things. So it's really grounded our team together. Like, every morning we have updates around this, and people on our Zoom calls are crying because it's just so like incredibly moving, the notes that we're receiving and the way that we're helping. And then it's also like giving us purpose as we continue to sell through this process, because we have things to talk about. People know that we're not just, yeah, of course we want to keep the lights on and we want to keep everyone employed and we want to keep selling, but we also want to keep making a difference. So it's been a crazy, like a really big
Incredible
side project that
really incredible.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, so for everyone, let's try to get you to that 200,000 and beyond on the GoFundMe side. But it sounds like you were able to get that stood up very quickly. And then also, I just saw recently on the I Nominate You, where you are then going to kind of take this for any medical professionals who are working tirelessly on the front line, and then kind of nix them out with very, their own kind of Knix care package. So maybe just highlight how that idea came. Did that come out of this GoFundMe, or?
Yeah, connected to that. I mean, so many of our customers actually are frontline workers, like healthcare workers, because our stuff is so comfortable that they wear it under their scrubs. And so we're doing a nominating thing where we're just going to gift people essential Knix sets. But everything came together very quickly. I think that's one of the things that we're best at Knix is speed over perfection. And I totally agree with Samantha about the importance of getting those details up. And it's so, you want it to be perfect.
Yes.
But the truth is that, like, you can use your iPhone and take a picture and crop it, and then you can do your photo shoot when the world opens up again. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
You'll have time for another photo.
No, we've canceled our shoots too. We're sending product to our customers and we're having them take pictures of themselves at their homes, and that's what's on our website. So it's like, don't worry.
And it's a great way. Like, I mean, you probably wouldn't have just done it that way. So being forced, like, it's probably going to be the greatest thing you ever done.
People only do this going forward. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I think the key takeaway for everybody is speed over perfection, now more than ever, and what you can do with your community can really actually rally behind you and actually start to be your new kind of focus and strategy. So with that, I'm going to ping you back to Samantha just to highlight when Shopify came out with all of their resources. I think first, just in terms of collecting a ton of different resources for small businesses, big businesses, merchants, et cetera, was super helpful. And I've seen that you guys have continuously started to roll out more programs to support merchants, like a $200 million fund and 90-day free trial or free trial extension. Maybe you can just talk about the top ones that you find that the merchants are finding really impactful, and what else you have coming out or people should be aware of as it relates to Shopify and COVID-19 resources for them.
Yeah, I think one of the ones that a lot of people talked about, and it was something that a lot of people asked for. So our CEO, Toby, had actually just put out a tweet and said, what do you guys need? Just asking, our merchant community, how can we help? And a lot of people said gift cards, like, get us gift cards so that anybody will be able to support our businesses by buying gift cards, and that'll just open things up for us. And that was one of the things that we did so quickly. Like, it was just really cool to see it on Twitter and then just like get a communication in my inbox that like it's something that we turned on for all merchants. So that's a really big one that seems to be making an impact right now, because people are able to at least support businesses of all sizes that have gift cards. So there's that. And then the COVID-19 page that we created, there's going to constantly be updates there. As this unfolds, we're all kind of dealing with the situation as it happens. So more and more we'll be adding to that page in terms of the different initiatives that we have going on and how we're trying to support. So I would just say to stay locked into that page, and we'll definitely be putting out more as we, do more.
Love it. And then I think because if I was a brick and mortar small business migrating to online, or I was already a Shopify customer, the one that I would probably go to first would be the 200 million in small business funding. So any details on that? Is it just U.S. and I believe it's just U.S. and Canada, but anything else that people should know, or is it just kind of a rolling application basis and take really good photos?
Yeah, I mean, we have Shopify Capital, which like is really great for small business owners. And one of the really great things about it too is it really helps women in business as well. There are a lot of barriers that we as women face, and Shopify Capital takes away those barriers. So what Shopify Capital does is it looks at the business and just exactly what you're doing in the business, and it offers you capital that you can use on a rolling basis. So you pay it back, and it's paid back by the sales that you make. So it's going to be based on that. So you know it's going to be a percentage, and it's affordable. So yeah, I think Shopify Capital is one of those things that people should take advantage of now, especially to try and just mend those gaps where maybe you don't have the income coming in to be able to support whatever it is that you need to do. So yeah, Shopify Capital. And yeah, the other things that you mentioned as well, the free trial, and we're going to have live programming that we have regularly, where we are talking to merchants, seeing how they've pivoted their business, and trying to share that with others so that businesses can take an example like what Knix did in terms of like, you know, having an at-home fitting. That's amazing.
Rising tides lift all boats. One of my
Yes.
favorite lines. Cool, thanks. So Joanna, back to just kind of what is happening day to day for you. So first and foremost, I know you mentioned before that your landlord has been supportive in terms of like how you're managing rent. Anything, I'd love to just maybe talk about how that conversation went and any other just support that you're getting. And then also how you're thinking about the rest of 2020. Are you reforecasting? Are you just kind of in a wait and see mode for the next month? And just really kind of what advice you would offer other businesses and about like how you're kind of tackling just, you know, all these different facets of your business.
For sure. So one of the first things that we did was we sort of put together a couple different scenarios, like good, worse, and worst.
Rock top.
Yeah, for sure. And sort of started thinking through like what each of those means. What does that mean for the company? How long could we sustain ourselves if we were in those situations? How do we think about cash? And in tandem with that, sort of regardless of whatever the outcome is, we immediately looked at how we could be reducing our non-essential spending. So we didn't, you know, everyone is still employed at Knix. We didn't go to that line, but we went and looked at like, okay, we were going to do this project. Maybe we're not going to do that project. We were going to do this. We're not going to do that anymore. And we got our expenses kind of as low as we possibly could. And what's amazing is that like, if you ask people, then the worst they're going to say is no. And this was really eye-opening for us. We work with one of the largest legal firms, and my lawyer proactively reached out to me and was like, hey, do you want any help with contract review? For one of my clients yesterday, I was reviewing 1,000 contracts to see what they could get out of. And so for us, and I think especially as female entrepreneurs, when we commit to something, we never want to change what we've said. And we're so mindful about everybody. I mean, like, at least I am, like everybody else and what's the impact it's going to have on them. And those conversations are hard, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have them. And so I think coming to it from a place of just mutual understanding, most people are willing to do something. And to be honest with you, something, if you do it everywhere, ends up being a lot. And that means jobs. And that means your business staying alive. And so we went through that approach, and that's been really successful for us. In some cases, like in the case with like our rent, it's things like, oh, do you mind giving us rent deferral? So like until we're able to use our office again or use our stores again, can you hold on to this? And then when we are back up and running, you can amortize it and spread it out over the rest of the year. And so those are just like a few things that we've done. And I would encourage everyone to do that. I know that it can be hard or crappy, but I'm sure your partners in all of this would much rather you have that conversation than 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now say, hey, I'm not in business any longer and I can't be your client for this
Absolutely.
forever. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think just touching on what you said, like honesty right now is just so important, and like just letting people know what you need, whether it's just like a hug, like just let people know what you need so that we can support each other, you know?
Yeah, we've heard that.
A hug from somebody you know in your home, not any just random.
Virtual hug.
Can't be doing that right now.
A lot of people, which is if you are vulnerable and you come from a place of I planned for a rainy day. I didn't plan for this large of a rainy day. Right. What can we do and how can I work together with you? And what are my options can be just a really good place to start the conversation and see what your partners or,
and none of us did anything wrong here. That's the thing that we have to remember too. Like, this is uncharted territory. Nobody asked for this. No one's seen anything like this before. So like, you as a CEO and business owner, you didn't make a bad choice. And I think any choice that you're making right now that maybe you feel unsure about or you're insecure about, it's not about, like, whatever it is that you're doing, it's not a bad choice. And honestly, nobody else has the answer either. You just have to go with like your heart. Yeah.
Great. Very, just got a little bit of a lady entrepreneur chills there. Okay, speed lightning round, because we're gonna wrap up here on our power lunch side real quick, which was just went like that. I want to know, first question, how are you guys personally managing stress right now? Again, you're frontline, you are just getting indulged by all of this. So first to you, Samantha, and then to you, Joanna. Like, yeah, what are you doing and what's working?
Yeah, I'm staying home. So that I'm doing, washing my hands. I'm trying to just, for me, I normally work from home. So that part of it wasn't much of a transition for me, but it's just eerie. Like, it just feels different. So I've just been trying to stick to a routine and just still get up in the morning and get myself ready and try to still manage my day as I normally would, just to try and keep my sanity, because at the end of the day, like, normal is not normal right now. So trying to feel normal is like the best you can do.
And sending all the good vibes with your t-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. Joanna, what are you doing? What's working?
I've been doing a lot of Zoom or Google Hangouts with my friends and family in the evening, and that has been just like an hour of the day to kind of escape and forget and reconnect. And so it's so easy to do that. So that's been a great win for me.
Love it. Okay, back to you, Joanna, and then over to you, Samantha. What's one action? This is how we like to end all of our ladies who launch events. What's one action you want every woman entrepreneur out there to take this week?
I want every woman entrepreneur to reach out to another woman entrepreneur and just check in and see how they're doing and have a real honest chat.
Love it. Perfect. Samantha.
Totally. And I'm going to build on what you said, and I'm going to say, in that chat, I want you to be vulnerable about one thing and tell another lady entrepreneur something tough that you're going through right now, that's affecting you because of this situation that we're all in. So, yeah.
Amazing. Those are two really good actions that tied in together. Ladies, thank you so much for joining. I know that right now time is valuable, but I just thought it was so helpful to just hear your perspectives and what's going on in the day-to-day and being vulnerable with all of us. So for everyone out there, please head over to Knix and get your virtual fitting and have a really good chat with one of their associates to help you out there. And donate to the GoFundMe, which I think is doing amazing stuff for our frontline folks out there. And then also Shopify, shopify.com/COVID-19. Tremendous resources for really anyone in business, but specific to kind of the retail industry. And I know lots more coming out from Shopify, as Samantha mentioned, for other content and things to help you get and or keep your business up and running. So for everyone, please hang in there. Remember, this too shall pass. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Hope you lunched well. And special thanks to you, Joanna and Samantha. You guys are amazing, and looking forward to taking my action for what you said today.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for
Bye,
having me.
Thanks for having us. Bye.